Let's welcome in the Powerhouse panel this morning. We've got former state chairwoman for the state of Nevada and Republican strategist Amy Tarkanian, National Advisory Board member for Project 21 and podcast host Christopher Arps is here, and actor, filmmaker, musician, and overall great guy, John Schneider, back with us here on Wake Up America. Rachel Roller also with me on the couch. Still here, hasn't gone anywhere, still standing, said the great Elton John. Okay, Joe Biden has some poll numbers that just came out a day ago. These are from Quinnipiac, and they are now ebbing into shocking numbers considering we are 8.5 months into Joe Biden as president. According to Quinnipiac, his approval rating right now 38%, but it gets worse when you dive into specifics. He's even worse on the border. When it comes to foreign policy and immigration, he's in the 30s. Immigration, he's at 25%. The border, 23%. We're just 13 months away for the midterm elections, Rachel. This is bad news for Democrats.
And something we do a lot on Wake Up America, we call it rapid reaction, is just paying a close attention to what people are talking about online, something I'm sure all of you have seen over the past 24 hours or so. But it was when CNN's Jake Tapper actually called those numbers that you quoted off the top, Rob, brutal, that really just sent social media into an uproar. Let's take a look at that real fast.
These new poll numbers, frankly, are brutal for the president. In this brand new Quinnipiac poll, only 38% of Americans approve of how Biden is handling his job compared to 53% who disapprove.
All right, so he said the quiet part out loud there. John Schneider, to you first on this. So left-leaning Twitter, Democratic Twitter, liberal Twitter, progressive Twitter was up in arms yesterday that Jake would dare say brutal when describing Joe Biden's approval rating. 38%, those numbers do not lie, and we are 13 months away from what will be a very consequential midterm elections. What do you make of the poll numbers and Jake Tapper's assessment?
Well, I think the poll numbers are actually grossly exaggerated. I can't imagine that this particular president or this particular administration could even eke out of the teens. So the fact that they're being brutal on those who are calling this brutal just shows that, eventually the sharks will eat their own. They will eat themselves.
Yeah.
So this is a matter we need to be patient, which is very difficult for me. They've been given enough rope to hang themselves with, and they are doing it handily every day. So let's just let them destroy themselves at this point and sit back, eat some popcorn, and enjoy the show.
Amy, do you agree with John? It seems like there's just a mad dash right now for reconciliation and infrastructure, two bills that could be Joe Biden's first term if we do see this red tidal wave in November of 2022.
Yes, I do agree, but I would like to actually add caramel and M&Ms to my popcorn.
Of course.
I watch them implode. And yes, the fact is they are in a hurry. They are in a rush, and it's because they know that they are going to be in massive trouble with these upcoming midterm elections coming right around the corner. So that's why we see them scrambling to try to put so much into one particular bill, and then they try to push everything that doesn't belong in reconciliation into budget reconciliation, and they're making up terms like human infrastructure, which make no sense at all because they're literally throwing spaghetti at the wall, and they want to see what will stick and what they can get passed through before they all have to head home permanently to their home state.
Yeah.
So I think they see the writing on the wall.
And I'll add to that, Amy, not a lot is sticking right now, evidently, when it comes to Joe Biden. Chris, the Democrats have got to be aware of this. You're in the Midwest right now in St. Louis. If these midterms go bad, do you think that this gets even worse for Joe Biden? Let's say he decides to run in 2024. Could we see a primary challenger for Joe Biden? That's not Kamala Harris, by the way. Somehow she manages to have numbers that are even worse than the president.
I definitely see a primary challenge, especially from the president's progressive left flank. As you know, they're not happy with him, even though they've dragged him along to most of what they want. And if you look at these polling numbers, Rob, they're even more brutal. The president had an 85% approval rating among African Americans when he first entered office. That's down to 67%. And we've also had several polls that show he has dropped among independents. He ranges between 31 and 36% among the independents. And as we know in today's elections, you cannot win without the independent voters.
All right, I want to talk about Hunter Biden's artwork. It's going to go on sale this month at a gallery in New York City. Jen Psaki was asked about that artwork. John Schneider, I notice you've got some wall space in that trailer there on the set. So maybe you could hang a Hunter, if you will, if somebody comes in to visit you.
Hang a Hunter,
you could hang a
not
Hunter
a
Biden painting. But
Thank you.
You could say this is a Biden. This is a Biden, which would be nice. Jen Psaki was asked about that in the briefing room. She does not like answering questions like this, but she was forced to confront what's becoming a very obvious to many people out there. Take a listen.
What is the White House's response to the fact that an ambassador nominee was at this event? And secondly, should we expect to see more people who seek jobs in this administration attending events like this in the future?
Well, to be clear, we've spoken to the arrangement that is run by the gallerist and Hunter Biden's representatives that the White House provided suggestions for. I'd refer you to the gallerist for questions about the event and as well as the representatives of Mr. Garcetti in terms of his attendance.
Okay, so John, just to fill you in, so Eric Garcetti, mayor of Los Angeles, wants to be the prime minister of India. He went to this art show, which can only mean one thing. People are going there to curry favor with Hunter. Maybe he'll buy a painting. Maybe he'll buy more. He's very wealthy. He certainly could.
Little quid pro quo.
Exactly. What do you make of that? And the fact that if you watch certain networks and read certain newspapers, they don't even mention this.
Well, I think it's an embarrassment that the president's son is even allowed to benefit financially during the term of his father. I think this is a gross overstepping of this family's authority in every regard. And the fact that our world, our country is falling apart because of the mismanagement of this administration. And at the same time, they're managing to have this even on their docket. It's just an embarrassment. There are too many other things for us to be doing. And by the way, well, obviously he's got no problem using a straw. I think that this should go away.
I get your not so subtle reference there, John. I get it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not known for my subtlety.
Right.
But yeah, I think this is an embarrassment. This is really another embarrassment. We have still not gotten after this particular Biden for his ties to China and hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean,
there's an open investigation by the Department of Justice right now into Hunter Biden. It's been going on for almost 9 months. We haven't heard anything about it yet. Merrick Garland's Department of Justice has been militarized to go after American parents because they don't want their kids learning about critical race theory in schools. And they have questions, just questions about 2-year-olds wearing masks in schools. Panel will pick this back up on the other side. Really enjoyed it. John Schneider, Christopher Arps, Amy Tarkanian, thanks for being with us. See you in a moment.